There are many coaches who initially tried and failed at the big time, but kept it going until they finally succeeded. I'm Justin Fraction, and today TPS tackles 10 coaches who became great after getting fired. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. If at first you don't succeed, you're in good company. Just ask a number of legendary sports coaches. One gig failed big time, but it didn't define them, it made them. Coaches on this list learned their lessons from a failed experience and found the right team and got their careers back on track. And a big shout out to Jitesh Ramakrishnan for suggesting this video. We hope you enjoyed, and if you do, feel free to leave your ideas down below, and you never know, we might use one and give you a shout out. Pete Carroll. The Seattle Seahawks coach had a miserable first stint in the NFL with the New York Jets. Carroll was fired after a 6-10 season in 1994. 3 years later, Carroll became head coach of the Patriots. He took them to the playoffs in 97 and 98, but was fired by owner Robert Kraft after a non-playoff year in 99. Carroll then coached at USC for 9 years before the Seahawks brought him back into the pros for the 2010 season. He has made them a juggernaut in the NFC ever since, leading them to a pair of NFC championships and a Super Bowl 48 victory. He got knocked down, but he got back up again. Hat tip to you, Pete. Mike Sullivan. Sully was the bench boss of the Boston Bruins for just 2 years and was fired after a dismal 2005-06 season. Sullivan then had to settle for assistant coaching gigs over the next decade till the Pittsburgh Penguins came calling. Sullivan was named head coach of the Penguins minor league team in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, but the Pens fired Mike Johnson and replaced him with Sullivan shortly after. Next thing you know, Sully leads the Pens to Stanley Cup championships in 2016 and 17, and at this point he can probably coach in hockey for as long as he wants to. Way to keep going, coach. George Karl. It took a while to find his footing, but here stands Karl years later, 5th all-time in wins. Karl was fired by the Cleveland Cavaliers in 1986, then let go by the Golden State Warriors in 1988, but he became coach of the Seattle Supersonics in 1991 and would never look back. He led them to the 1996 NBA Finals and turned them into one of the NBA's best. He also had success coaching Milwaukee and Denver. Only 9 coaches have won 1,000 games. Karl is one of them. Peter Laviolette. For some reason, the long-time struggling New York Islanders weren't happy making the playoffs in 2002 and 3 with Peter Laviolette, so they fired him and would live to regret it. Laviolette became head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes during the 2005-06 season, leading them to a Stanley Cup championship. He then coached Philadelphia before coming to Nashville. He has led both of those teams to appearances in the finals too. Laviolette is part of the 500-win club. Is that still not good enough for you Islanders? Marv Levy. After coaching in the CFL, Marv Levy was hired to coach the Kansas City Chiefs in 1978. He was let go after recording just 31 wins against 42 losses in 5 years. But KC's loss was the Buffalo Bills game. Levy was brought on in 1986. He turned the Bills into an AFC juggernaut, leading them to 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s. Now, he never won a title, but who cares? 186 coaching wins and a spot in the Pro Football Hall of Fame is good enough, especially considering how bad his first stint in KC was. Joe Girardi. Girardi was part of the New York Yankees' 90s dynasty, winning 3 championship rings. Known for being a humble and easygoing person, Girardi became manager of the Florida Marlins in 2006. But the team finished with a mere 78-84 record, so Girardi got canned. 3 years later, the Yankees hired Girardi as their manager. He led them to a World Series championship in 2009 and compiled 910 wins in his 10 years there. Amazingly, the Pinstripes let him go after the 2017 season. This was despite the Yankees falling 1 game short of reaching the World Series. Weeb Ewbank. Yes, Weeb Ewbank led the Baltimore Colts to the 1958 and 59 NFL championships, but he only had 4 winning seasons in 9 years there. Ewbank was fired in 1962, but became the Hall of Famer we all know and love later on in life. The New York Jets hired him in 1962 and led them to a shocking Super Bowl III victory over the 18-point favorite Colts. It was one of the greatest upsets in NFL history. Ewbank would win 130 games and was named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Joel QUENNEVILLE. Though Coach Q led the St. Louis Blues to the playoffs in his first 7 years there, he was let go near the end of the 2003-04 season. He then coached the Colorado Avalanche for 3 years before becoming bench boss of the Chicago Blackhawks in 2008. Next thing you know, 3 Stanley Cup championships, a part of the 800-win club. Oh, and he's now second all-time in coaching wins. Hey Blues, how do you feel now about firing him? Jerry Sloan. The NBA icon first became coach for the Chicago Bulls in 1979-80, but after 2.5 years in the Windy City, Sloan was fired. He joined the Utah Jazz in 1988, and the rest is history. Sloan won 1,221 games in Utah, coaching them for nearly a quarter of the century. Though he never won a title, Sloan led the Jazz to the 1997 and 98 finals. They only missed the playoffs 3 times under his watch. Sloan sits third all-time in coaching victories. Bill Belichick. Can most of us agree that he's the greatest NFL head coach ever? Okay, good. Belichick was hired to coach the Cleveland Browns in 1991, and he'd hold on to the gig until 1995. Belichick was fired after just going 36-44 in 5 years at the helm. Belichick became the head coach of the Patriots in 2000. He formed a dynasty in New England, leading his team to championship after championship. They've only missed the playoffs twice under Belichick, with only 1 losing season during that time. It's amazing what this guy's done. And our classic Browns for firing a legend. What other coaches became great after getting fired? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.